We hope it didn't take a lawsuit to land you here. Whatever the reason is, we're here to help you learn about ADA compliance and how it relates to websites. Before we begin, we'd like to stress that the content featured in both the video and guide is provided by accessibilitychecker.org and has been reviewed by Mr. Nolan Klein, an ADA defense attorney who has represented clients in nearly 300 lawsuits related to ADA violations. Let's get started. In 1990, the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, was passed to prohibit discrimination based on disability. Think of the ADA as making discrimination against the disabled illegal, much like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 made it illegal to discriminate against other protected classes, like racial and religious minorities. The ADA consists of 3 parts, or in legal language, 3 titles. Title I prohibits discrimination in the workplace. Title II prohibits discrimination by government. Title III prohibits discrimination by private businesses. Here we are dealing with Title III. Title III only applies to places of public accommodation. Some examples of places of public accommodation as defined in the ADA include hotels, restaurants, theaters, museums, zoos, health spas, and the list goes on. Websites did not exist in 1990 when the ADA was signed and are not named in the ADA. Does the law also consider websites to be places of public accommodation? To gain insight into this matter, it's crucial to have a clear understanding of the DOJ and the role it plays. The United States Department of Justice, the DOJ, is an executive agency of the United States government led by the Attorney General, which is tasked with enforcing federal law and administering justice in the United States. The DOJ authored the regulations that implement the ADA, and so its interpretations of the law are given great weight. In a letter sent by the Assistant Attorney General to Congress, dated September 25, 2018, addressing the department's interpretation of the ADA as it relates to websites. The department first articulated its interpretation that the ADA applies to public accommodations websites over 20 years ago. So even though the DOJ has not yet authored specific regulations implementing the ADA for websites, like it has done for physical buildings, its position, like the opinions of many federal judges throughout the country, appears to be that the law does apply to websites operated by places of public accommodation. Companies whose websites fail to become ADA compliant risk being sued. Settlements following a website accessibility demand letter or lawsuit can range from $5,000 to $20,000 or more, depending on the lawyer, plaintiff, and jurisdiction involved. For physical construction, such as restaurants or hotels, Congress required the DOJ to issue regulations explaining what business owners must do to comply with the ADA. The DOJ issued the Americans with Disabilities Act Accessibility Guidelines, the ADAAG, which explains how to comply. When a restaurant or theater or other physical business is designed or modified, the architect or contractor builds parking spaces, ramps, bathrooms, counter space, and other building elements that follow the ADAAG and therefore comply with the ADA. To date, there are no current clear guidelines from the DOJ regarding how to create accessible websites. Though not officially the standard, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG, 2.0 level AA has been cited by the DOJ, judges, and others as the web accessibility standard to follow to become ADA compliant. The WCAG is a series of guidelines that provide information about web accessibility. The guidelines give site owners clear instructions toward making their website accessible to people with disabilities. Technically, it's not a legal requirement to follow the WCAG guidelines, but they heavily influence ADA litigation and are often considered to be de facto compliant with ADA standards. A good place to start is by scanning your website for accessibility-related issues using our free scanner. Just type your URL, and our scanner will audit your code and issue a detailed report on how to fix your accessibility issues. Awareness is always the first step in any big change. Help us spread the word by sharing this video. We hope this video has been helpful. Thanks for watching.